Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. I am so incredibly grateful for you clicking on this video. If you are new here, my name is Rachel and I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you are a returning viewer or subscriber, you know how much I absolutely love and adore you. Thank you so incredibly much for supporting me, watching my channel, and coming to hang out with me all the time. I seriously love it. You guys mean so much to me. You will genuinely never understand. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so excited for today's video, you guys. I know I say that a lot, but today's video is so incredibly special. It is going to be Blakely's birth story. In part one, I talked all about her pregnancy and the craziness that it took to get to the day of her actual birth. But today I'm going to tell you all about that beautiful, wonderful day and that experience and how incredibly healing it was for my heart. I absolutely love the day and memories that I have of giving birth to Miss Blakely. It was truly so incredibly special and it just healed my soul. It really did. If there was one day that I wish I could relive in my life, it would be that day. I am seriously just so excited to tell you guys about it. So I don't want to make this intro too long. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. And like I said, if you haven't seen part one, then you'll definitely want to watch that first. So I'll go ahead and link that for you. As I mentioned in part one, I had been in the hospital for a couple days because they wanted to give me those 2 steroid shots to help Blakely because she was so incredibly tiny and give her just the best shot of not needing any extra care at delivery. And so they gave me those 2 steroid shots and then they came into my room on Sunday morning, October 11th of 2020, and told me that it was time for me to deliver my baby girl. So they actually wheeled me out from my room and took me into another room where they were going to prep me for delivery. This was really special because Hunter was able to come with me. When we got into that room, they hooked me up to a monitor, you know, just the typical monitors that you see, you know, every picture of like every mama holding her belly with the monitors on it. I will go ahead and insert that picture here because it was really fun to get that, you know, little piece of normalcy that I didn't have in my previous pregnancy. And Hunter went into the bathroom and he got to change into like all of his scrubs so that he could actually come into the operating room because I made the decision that I was going to be awake during my C-section. That was a decision that was really, really difficult for me to make because I was so incredibly nervous that I would have severe PTSD and trauma from the visual memory that I had. It was one of the very few visual memories that I had of Beckham's birth, and that was of the blue curtain that went up right when they were about to deliver him. And I was really nervous. Like, I didn't want to see that. I didn't want that to be part of my experience with Blakely. And so they actually had the anesthesiologist come in and talk to me all about the pros and cons of either staying awake and getting a spinal block or being under general anesthesia when I delivered Blakely. Ultimately, I decided to stay awake purely because it put Blakely at less risk. And at the end of the day, you know, if I was gonna have extra trauma, I didn't care if Blakely was okay. And all I wanted was for her to be as healthy and have as much of a fighting chance as she possibly could at being born without needing any time in the NICU. And I didn't want to risk anything. I didn't. I made the choice to stay awake and I am so glad that I did. Hunter came out of the bathroom in those cute scrubs. He looked adorable, just like a doctor. And I just was so incredibly excited that we were about to meet our little girl. I just had faith that she was gonna be okay. So they had me hooked up to the IV and they were doing all sorts of things, giving me fluids, I guess, I'm not quite sure. But they were just prepping me and then they told me that they were going to wheel me into the operating room and they were going to numb me and give me a spinal block, which is very similar to an epidural. It's like almost the exact same thing. It's just used for C-sections so that you're numb from the waist down, and then you also get like a block in your abdomen, which numbs you even more so, I believe. If there's anybody who knows more than I do, which I'm sure there's a ton of you, go ahead and comment below if I said anything incorrect there. But I was getting a spinal block and just being numbed from the waist down essentially. So they took me into the operating room. They were gonna do that and then Hunter was gonna be able to come in the room and join me for the actual operation and delivery. I was a little bit nervous, obviously, to get the spinal block. I was like terrified of the giant needle going in my back. Oh my goodness, I was so incredibly scared. So I got wheeled in and then they put me on this little table and I was sitting up and there was a nurse that came and she like held my hands because I had to like arch my back, you know? And so I was holding her hands and I was just sitting there like a little bit tense, and I'm like trying to relax because they're like, try not to be too tense. And so I'm like sitting there just like gripping her hands. I'm like waiting for them to tell me that they're gonna do it. And I literally felt nothing, not a thing, like absolutely nothing. And they're like, okay, you're all done. And I was like, oh, what? I'm done? And then I kind of started to get nice and happy. I just like felt so good. So I was like totally numb and just feeling so good. Like I felt like I was floating on a cloud. And Hunter came into the room and the doctors were like laughing, and they were like, I think she's pretty happy, because Hunter knew that I was really nervous for the spinal block, and they were like, no, she's pretty happy with it. And so he came in and I was like, babe, I didn't feel anything. I love these guys. And that was all very true, and I think I was like a little bit out of it. Then they kind of continued to prep the room, and Hunter got to pull up a chair and sit right next to my head, and then they put up that blue curtain, and at that point I just like didn't even care. I was just like so ready to meet my little girl, and I just knew. I knew everything was gonna go great. And then they said that they were starting the surgery, and Hunter just looked at me and he said, so babe, when are we taking our kids to Disneyland? And we just started talking and laughing, and it was like the most incredible experience ever. There was like soft music playing in the operating room. Hunter and I were just chatting about the vacations we wanted to take our kids on and how excited we were for Beckham to meet his little sister. And I was kind of like waiting, like, am I gonna feel anything? And when I say that I felt nothing, I mean like I feel right now exactly how I felt on that operating table. Absolutely nothing. And the nurse was talking to us a little bit, and I was like, so what are they doing right now? Like, can you see the baby? And she's like, no, not quite. We're just kind of getting through a few layers. And I'm going, oh wow, how weird. This is so crazy. And it was cool. It was so surreal. And they told Hunter not to look over the curtain because they've had husbands do that, and they pass out sometimes or throw up, and they're like, we want to focus on mom and baby. We don't really want to have to focus on the husband, so please do not look over this curtain. And I know that there are some guys who are like, we don't want a curtain, or they want a clear curtain, but we had chosen to put that curtain up. I don't want to see myself from the inside out type of deal. I was nervous. And so Hunter peeked over the curtain and broke the rules, and he was like, oh my word. And he told me, he's like, Rachel, you were literally open from your chest to your pelvis, like pried open. He's like, it was insane. And he didn't tell me like right then that he looked over, because he didn't want to freak me out, of course, but he just was like, I literally couldn't believe that I was like looking at the inside of your body, and then I would look at your face and you're like chatting away with me and the nurse, so happy. And then a few minutes into the surgery, they said, okay, get ready for some pressure. We're going to start taking the baby. And so I like braced myself, and Hunter's like gripping my hand, and we're just like staring at each other, smiling. Oh, it just makes me emotional because it's one of the best moments of my entire life. And they pulled her, and I didn't feel anything. And then she started to cry. She started to cry, and it's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard in my entire life. They yelled out the birth time, and then they told Hunter, like, come over, Dad, while they cleaned her.
Blakely. Hi. There, you see your daddy? Is it so bright still, huh? Is it bright?
Hard to make it not bright in here.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sorry, baby.
I give her a 9 and I think maybe. Good.
Okay.
Oh.
That is the best pout I have ever seen in 15 years.
Oh, really?
That's the best pout ever. Oh, Blakely, you're darling. Yeah.
I can put some bands on her, I'll wrap her up a little bit.
Perfect.
And then they said, you can go take her to Rachel, you can take her to mom. And Hunter looked at them and he said, no NICU time. And they said, no NICU time, she's perfect. So Hunter carried my sweet little Blakely over to me, and I got to hold her and kiss her. filming this video this would happen, but it just takes me back to the best experience I've ever had. She never left my side after Hunter brought me to her.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I like Zimmy's noodle though.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to swaddle her. If I am Preemie clothes, yes, I'm allowed to wear Love it. Alright, you can do that to give yourself a perfect. So our slide was tied up. Put one in room 1
She passed every test every single day with flying colors, and she was 4 pounds 9 ounces at birth, so she was even smaller than they expected her to be, but she was tiny but mighty, and that little girl was just ready to be here. And I'm so grateful for that extra time I got with her because she was healthy. That day, I don't react well to pain medication, and so I was of course holding her on my chest, getting ready to breastfeed her, and I threw up for 10 hours straight.
Hey, sweetie, do you feel like the hospital food is pretty good?
Well, all
Yeah.
I've been able to eat
You haven't eaten any. Your husband's eaten it all.
And I literally just had her on my chest, and I was literally holding a barf bag, and I was so happy that I was literally just silently puking into the bag. Sorry, that's not a visual anybody wants, but just to put into perspective, I couldn't eat and I was just barfing all day, but I was the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Of course, in combination with Beckham coming home from the NICU.
Hey, Rach, how did it go today?
She did amazing. She literally just breastfed for 10 minutes on this breast and 15 on this one. So she's gonna be a little rock star of an eater, and I'm so happy because I know that is our ticket home with her.
Do you feel like this experience was different than the last?
It's literally the most healing day I've ever had in my life today. Finally being here and coming full circle is so surreal.
That little girl just healed my heart. Oh my gosh, I longed for her spirit long before she joined our family. I'm so, so grateful for the doctors that paid such close attention to me. I'm so grateful to God for blessing me with such a beautiful family. I mean, Blakely has already started to aid Beckham in ways that I never could. It is so beautiful and incredible to watch them together, and you guys know that I am going to have so much footage coming at you of my 2 beautiful little miracles and watch them play together. And I just know that Blakely is so incredibly special and that she has such an important role in our family, and I'm just grateful that I was chosen to be her mother. It's just such an honor. I am just forever, forever grateful. And obviously, I just want to say thank you to you guys. It is an unbelievable feeling to have so many beautiful, wonderful people love your children. I am so incredibly grateful for everybody that watches my channel, because I know you're here for my babies and I love them so much, and it feels so incredible to see the comments that you guys post about my 2 little kids. It really is just a special community that we're building, and I am forever grateful for it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know Blakely and how she came into our family and her birth story, and it's just beautiful. It was the most healing experience I've ever had in my life. I just wish I could relive it over and over again. I'm so grateful for it, and I'm so grateful for you guys. So thank you so much for clicking on this video. I can't wait to have so many more vlogs coming at you. I love you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.